found out this morning we're getting a huge Bellator title fight. Usman Nurmagomedov defending his Bellator lightweight title against Paul Hughes. It's Dagestan versus Ireland one more time, part 2. And they should promote it as such, in my opinion. And I'm going to weigh in on that fight in just a moment. Stick with me. Prior to Darren, Nikisa Badarian, co-founder of Most Valuable Promotions, after a massive week, we told you about the numbers yesterday, talked to him about the fight, and then what's next come 2025 for the promotion, and then, of course, for the problem child, El Gallo, Jake Paul. Who's next? What's next? Where is he fighting? What platform will he be fighting on? And before that, we've got an interview that I've been trying to secure for about 6 months, ever since Gable Steveson parted ways, somewhat shockingly and surprisingly, with WWE. I've been trying to get him on the show, but there was a period where he couldn't speak. Then he got signed by the Buffalo Bills, my Buffalo Bills. Then he left the Bills. Then he was up in the air. Then he was with Jon Jones. And then just recently announced that he is going back to the University of Minnesota one more time to try to win one more national championship. And he's doing it again. And it's a sign of the times, because back in the day, you couldn't do something like this. He is capitalizing on it. And we're going to get to talk to him in his very first interview since leaving WWE. Remember, he was an NIL signing for World Wrestling Entertainment. A lot of promise, a lot of hype, a lot of buzz attached to him. Showed up at WrestleMania, was on NXT, and then poof, gone. So there's a lot to get to as far as Gable is concerned. Just want to go back quickly to that January 25 nugget, Usman Nurmagomedov and Paul Hughes. I thought it was very interesting in the branding of the on the poster and in the press release. I felt, here's the poster, I feel like the Bellator branding is being minimized. It's called Road to Dubai Champion Series. There you see Bellator lightweight title fight. You see Nurmagomedov versus Hughes, Dagestan versus Ireland 2. They are promoting it as such, which I think is smart. January 25th at the Coca-Cola Arena in beautiful Dubai. You see the belt. You take a closer look. You look at the press release, and it very much feels to me like Bellator is being phased out. Dubai Department of Economy and Tourism and Dubai Sports Council partner with the PFL to position Dubai as a global hub for MMA. That's the headline. Groundbreaking multi-year partnership includes Professional Fighters League, staging major annual global events dubbed, quote, Road to Dubai, and developing future UAE champion fighters. Dubai's first Champion Series world title fight or event will be held Saturday, January 25th at Coca-Cola Arena, headlined by Usman versus Paul Hughes. Dubai's first Champion Series world title event. It's almost like Champion Series is the name of the promotion. And I get what they're trying to do. They're trying to position it as Champions League. You go further into the press release, and you see the first of its kind partnership will see MMA world champions and the sport's biggest stars from the PFL compete in title fights as Dubai becomes a marquee destination for the best of MMA. All other Champion Series events will now be co-branded as Road to Dubai. As each show culminates to the finale set in the new fight capital as part of PFL's commitment to developing the sport of MMA in Dubai, rising Emirati star fighters will now have a pathway to become future PFL champions. No mention of Bellator in there. Champion Series is mentioned. It feels to me like Dubai is paying to call this Road to Dubai Champion Series, and they're going to phase it out. Now, I reached out to sources within the PFL, asked them, hey, what about the Bellator branding? They told me, stand by, more to come. Hey, what about where this is going to air? I noticed no mention of Max in the press release. Stand by, more to come. So these are in the sort of details, and as they say, the devil is in said details. I think that's really interesting. Obviously, it feels like the Bellator brand is kind of fizzling out, and what everyone wants is for it to just be one promotion. Look, I understand why they keep the Bellator brand alive. They could do deals outside of their ESPN deal. No different than when UFC had a deal with Spike and they bought WC and they put WC on Versus. And so they're now they're now enjoying 2 revenue streams when it comes to broadcasting. That's huge. If you can get it, that's great. Not everyone can get that. You don't think Matchroom would love to have another revenue stream when it comes to TV? Look at WWE. They've got their Netflix deal. They've got their USA deal. They've got their CW deal. That's why they break it all up. So I get why they do it. The roster isn't deep enough. The roster isn't, it's just not talented enough to sustain that. So off the jump, we suspected, okay, 1 to 2 years. I think my prediction was 2 years. But then come 2 years, it would fizzle out. Let's see if it fizzles out. It certainly is not going to fizzle out come January because you do see Bellator lightweight title mentioned there. But it seems like afterwards we may be moving towards a situation where it just becomes, I don't know, they're going to call it Champion Series. They're going to try to do something where Africa, Europe, America, Middle East all come together. Let's see. They have grandiose plans. I ultimately feel like the best fighting the best, the biggest fight, meritocracy be damned. For PFL, just make the biggest fights. Make the fights that have the biggest juice, the best storyline, the most heat. And this would be, to me, an acknowledgement that they agree. Paul Hughes was signed to be a PFL fighter. He hasn't even gone into the PFL season yet. He's fought once in Bellator and once on a PFL pay-per-view, and now he's fighting for the Bellator lightweight title. That, to me, is an acknowledgement that, hey, why waste time by putting him through a whole ringer of a season, plus playoffs, plus championship, when we could put him in there against the Bellator champion, and that's the biggest fight. I can't even tell you who the top dog right now is for the 155 division in the PFL. Make the biggest fights, make the juiciest fights, make the sexiest fights, and they're doing that. That feels like somewhat of an indictment on their format, which they believe so strongly in, and some sort of acknowledgement that, the fight game formula, which is give the fans what they want, still works. Time now for everyone's favorite segment of the week. It is time for another episode, another edition of On the Nose. Let's get into it, shall we, friends?
I think so. On the nose.
Yeah. Hey, Ariel and crew, this is from Dominic. My question is, why does it seem like the rest of the heavyweight division is being overlooked or disrespected after Tom and Jon? I often hear comments like, who else is there? Or there is no one else for Tom to fight after Jon. Obviously, there's the Gann fight and the drama there, but also Volkov is having a resurgence in his career, and I think that the rematch could be very different. And then you still have other great contenders like Almeida, who had just won Setback. That would be an intriguing fight for Tom. Separate question. Okay, so let me just address that. Yeah, sure, but come on. We saw Jon versus Gann. Gann has to fight Volkov. You mentioned Volkov. There is those two guys, and there's a gigantic drop-off. There are 2 fights left for Jon. Really. There's really no argument here. It's Pereira and Aspinall. Aspinall, Pereira. Those are the biggest fights. He could stick around forever and fight this guy, that guy, this guy, that guy. But those are the 2 biggest fights. Those are gigantic fights. And arguably way bigger than any fight since the second DC fight, if I'm being honest. Bigger than Anthony Smith, bigger than Thiago Santos, bigger than Dominic Reyes. The Gann fight was huge. His comeback, his debut. Stipe was huge, obviously, to a degree. Those 2 fights are sexier, bigger, juicier, more intriguing than all of those combined. And that's no knock on the other guys, but they're just not at the level right now. So not trying to be disrespectful. There's just levels. Separate question, but have you heard anything on why Alexander Romanov was released by the UFC despite only being 33, 73 in the UFC? No, I have not heard. And they're cutting and releasing and signing a boatload of people weekly. Juan Sanchez, hello, Ariel and crew. My question this week is for GC. Which uncrowned alter ego team member would you rather go on a 7-hour road trip with? Funk Harbor Ariel, high-pitched voice Frank when he's giving interesting facts or knowledge? I would say it's actually low-pitch. He's like,
what are you talking about?
Well, we got one in the chat for you, Ariel, on this cloudy Wednesday.
How long have you been able to do that? I think you should do that more often.
98.7 FM. I used to do it. I used to work on at a radio station in Syracuse when I was a student there called Z89, and I would always say, the beat of Syracuse Z89. It's Ariel Helwani here.
Did they train
on
you to do that,
Wednesday
or
night.
you
Just
naturally?
Just talented, bro. Anyway, or gout-ridden sleep apnea, New York Rick. Excited to hear your thoughts. Much love, Juan.
All right, so the 7 hours might immediately take out gout-ridden sleep apnea Rick, just because at some point you have to think that he's going to fall asleep, which with the sleep apnea, can he bring the sleep apnea machine with him in the car? Do we have some sort of generator to power it? Like, or is he just going to be snoring out the ass?
And doesn't gout smell?
These are good
It has a
questions.
smell to it, right?
Gout sounds like it smells,
Yeah, it
right?
does.
Like
Like,
gout
man,
sounds like it
smells like gout in
smells
here.
horrific. So right now, Rick is at the bottom. Funk Harbor Ariel, like, are you continuing to drink Funk Harbor throughout the entire 7-hour road trip? Or, like, do you come on strong and then you just pass out halfway through and it's like, okay, glad that's done. Funk Harbor Ariel, we'll get him in the bed once we get there.
No, I'm a great time. People have actually told me, have gone out of their way to say I'm one of the most fun times when going out. Like a little bit of grandpa's old cough medicine. They have gone out of their way to say there is no one more fun than me out on the town.
Do you remember when he
So
was
we're
falling
technically-
asleep in Dallas? And
This is what people are telling me. I don't remember anything. I'm just saying this is what people have said.
Don't remember anything. All right. So,
Yeah.
like, we'll just have that much Funk Harbor. We don't remember anything.
You're losing one driver there, though. Think about that. Like, if you need
Yeah.
him to take over.
Yeah,
you're losing
yeah.
that.
7-hour road trip. We might have to make a switch. How often is he going to have to go to the bathroom, too? We know he's got the strong bladder from the show, but can it make it through a 7-hour road trip?
Real talk, though. Like, have you guys ever been on a long road trip where you have decided that you're going to drive and then halfway through you're like, oh, can you drive for me? No, it's like you're committed to do the
I
whole
know.
drive.
I know. I'm going to drive. I'm never.
never gonna
I'm
call
cool
it
with the
off.
driving part.
Yeah.
And
Even
then,
if someone's like, Frank, I'd really like to drive, I'm like, well, then you can get your own car.
Frank,
Yeah,
do
no, I
the
agree.
one, like the voice that you always do.
Which one?
Frank, you were in the car with me on the way to Atlantic City. You never asked to drive, so
Because I knew, like, it was...
that's not a thing.
Yeah.
All right, so another thing with Frank, he might not only be talking in that voice the entire time, but he's going to be delivering me random facts throughout the entire road trip, and that's just going to wear me
Did you
thin
know that the
after
Oh, wow. I
Interstates-
thought you would actually say that's entertaining, that you would like that.
Yeah.
Mm.
The interstates, if they end
they're-
in an even number, it means that
Yeah.
they're going east
Yeah,
and west.
yeah. See,
If
it's,
they're odd
it's
numbers,
facts like
north
this
and
that
south.
all you have, like,
I love
simple
that.
Google searches.
If
Wait,
it's
wait,
a
tell me.
three-digit interstate number, it means it's a loop, and the last 2 digits will tell you what actual interstate the loop connects to.
Wow.
Okay, this is great. So Funk Harbor Ariel would get along great
Yeah,
with,
you'd be like,
with
nah, that's
factual Frank.
bullshit.
Love this. Yes.
I'm going gout and sleep apnea Rick. Final answer.
Nice.
Wow.
He started at the bottom.
And just hope that he doesn't go to sleep.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
We've seen him make it through a
Whoa,
lot
whoa,
of
whoa, whoa,
a lot
whoa.
of
What is
things.
happening over in Blanchardstown? What is this? Holy shit. I mean, what is happening? I feel like you're in the studio right now.
This started 3 hours ago. I can't move. If I move, lights, cameras, everything are coming apart here. Once again, Frank, very aggressive.
But
throughout
yeah.
the process.
What did I tell you about airing that out on the air? Like, look, man, I told you that
Wait,
stuff
what
in
is
private.
this? Is wait, tap the mic. Tap the mic.
You see, the problem is this mic is so sophisticated. It has a noise cancellation feature. If I bang this, it just won't make a sound.
No, I want to hear. I want to hear.
I'm gonna take it off. Right?
No, I want to hear. I want to hear. Just do it. Just do it right now. Just do it. Just tap it.
Tap, tap, tap.
I heard it. I heard it. Yeah.
Replaying you going, no, it doesn't sound different.
This
for-
all on the conspiracy theory that Petessy's not actually using the microphone and he's just talking into
By
his
the way, look how
laptop.
stressed he is right
He
now.
said that Al-Shadi texted him yesterday. It was like 1,000% you weren't using that microphone.
Wow.
That's
People were just
the
piling
idea.
on.
I was like, hang on a second. I had a bit of a meltdown, but I'm back.
He joined on at like 9:50 a.m. Eastern. I was like, good on Petesy getting on early so we don't have to deal with this as we're getting lead up to the show. He was on until like 12:57 doing all the testing.
Can I just offer one piece of commentary?
We don't care.
Is that a butter knife?
I do sort of feel like the old mic sounded better. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Why does it sound a little bit? Fuck. PT.
Yeah.
It does sound. PT okay or what? Is everything all right? Look, he's talking. I can't even hear him right now. Is he talking?
Turned himself all the way down.
Did you turn yourself down, PT? What happened?
So many fucking buttons here. I don't know what's going on. I'll turn it up. Do I turn it up, Frank?
Yeah, turn it up.
Also,
Hello.
we need him to post a picture of like the children's desk that he's working with. Like he is working on
Did
a
Andy
desk
did I
suit
not
for
show
like
you
a
it?
7-year-old. It
There's
is
no fucking space. Like if I touch anything, this whole fucking
Okay,
shit is.
we're working through the kinks. We're working through the kinks. You look great. You sound okay.
Wow.
We're working through the kinks. Everything's
Frank is
good.
turning red back here.
Now, listen, do you guys just want me to say everyth's great all the time, or do we want to?
No, because you never say that. I wouldn't know what that
Actually,
is.
if you could just say it one
Wow,
time,
that's
that would
so-
be good. If
Just
you just could say
on the
one
back.
time.
One pat on the
Easy.
back.
How many times did I text you about?
Can I offer some advice? That's it.
How many times did I text you after Monday's show saying you were phenomenal, you were cooking?
That was only to build me up so you could knock me down.
You see, this is crazy. I think I'm actually too generous with my compliments, if I'm being honest. I need to pull back because now they're all falling short. That's what I think.
Oh no. I'm a kind of a treat him mean, keep him keen kind of guy. You need to just tell me I'm a piece of shit and I'll probably like you more for that, you know?
We move along. Pizza Jones says, "Hello, Ariel and team. Brian Battle on the show when? The promo he cut in France was Helwani on the nose, award worthy, and then some. Couldn't agree more. We will get him. Shout out to Chuck Mindenhall. Fantastic feature on Brian Battle. We will get him on the show. There's no doubt about that. Jesus. Okay, so like I see this one guy is asking a question about politics. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 paragraphs long. What do you want me to do with this, my friend? I want to give a shout out to Jackson for the thoughtful message. I love this stuff. I think that we should be able to talk about these things. Even yesterday, when I talk about it with Joe, it's like, look at Ariel whining. How many times do I have to say I'm not whining? Can we not just have a conversation? Can we not just talk things out? Things that have nuance, things that are a little bit more complex than who's going to fight who, without people being like, look at him whining. Look at the snowflake. And so I'm sure this is a great comment or question or commentary, but I just can't read 11 paragraphs right now. I really want to. And anyways, can you maybe send it next week a little bit shorter? That would be great. Lewis, moderator emeritus Lewis, and let us all, Frank, if we could get some sort of fun music. I don't know if we have any music. We still don't have a license. Okay. Yeah. Okay, I mean, that's the Ade music. But Mazel Tov. Mazel Tov to our good friend, moderator Lewis, who became a father last week, guys.
Wow.
How about that?
Congratulations, Lewis.
Yes.
Lewis and his partner.
Yes. Mazel Tov to everyone. Shout out to them. Hopefully everyone is feeling good, getting some sleep, healthy, happy, and wishing everyone nothing but the best. So Mazel Tov, here he is as the former moderator. Summarize your question in one sentence. Oh, he's telling the guy. See, here he is. He says, as the former moderator, summarize your question in one sentence. Edit the question and put it at the top. Short and concise. This is a wall of text. Thank you.
Even put it into ChatGPT and say, can you make this one sentence?
Yeah. Hut. Ariel, Trump appointed Linda McMahon. Have we become a MAGA channel here, Frank? What's going on?
Look.
What have you done to us? Is this the Gutfield show? Trump appointed Linda McMahon as education secretary, which is mind-blowing. Dana White has said he would leave the UFC to fill a cabinet role for Trump. Question 1, do you see Dana leaving the UFC within the next few years for a Trump position? No. Question 2, what the fuck is going on in this country? Thanks, lump the show. Yeah, did you guys see that? Linda McMahon, Secretary of Education, I think it is.
Saw that last night.
Pretty big.
Couldn't be happier. Dr. Oz as well.
Really?
Yeah, that was.
What is his role?
Something to do with health,
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense.
because he's got all those immunes.
Who's next?
Dr. Phil next.
Who's next? Who do we got?
So WWE, McMahon, that's awesome.
Yeah,
Dr. Oz,
TV health.
yeah.
Dr. Phil, Secretary of Psychology.
Yeah.
Perfect.
We're building this out nicely.
Who else?
RFK.
RFK. Well, isn't he the health guy?
No, there's two health guys.
Oh, okay.
Right?
I feel like Jake needs something. Jake was pretty hard in the paint.
Yeah, maybe.
Secretary of Athletics or something. Secretary of Problems. Yep, I like that one. That's a good one. Or maybe ambassador to Puerto Rico.
That's actually a good one.
Yep. I wonder if Vince gets a spot or too toxic at the moment.
No, it seems like never mind.
Okay, all right. Lex, hey Ariel, any truth to the Izzy versus Imavov news for February 1st in Saudi? Truth be told, didn't look into it just yet. Saw it come through the wire. Busy day yesterday, but I shall look into it. Question for Ariel and the crew. In a world where you are UFC fighters getting your own custom shorts, what would be on your shorts? Love the new show. Keep up the great work. Matmo says Ariel's would be checkered plaid. Can I tell you guys something? Can I shoot straight?
Yes.
I feel like I never thought I'd say this. I feel like I'm kind of outgrowing the plaid.
You've outgrown it.
You think I've outgrown it?
As soon as you got the Lululemon stuff over the summer,
It's it.
I've been planting the seed. I was like,
Yeah.
we're done with it. We're
I know.
done with it. It's
you
time
know,
to move
Andy's
on.
wearing plaid today, and I was like, maybe this gotten too trendy.
I knew it was really over when I was watching Olympic coverage
Yeah.
on the great
CBC?
CBC.
Thank you.
With my parents.
Oh, yeah.
And my mom saw you in the Lululemon. She was like, wow, he really looks great in these solid colors. He should ditch the plaid.
I should listen to your mom more. Yeah, you know, I just don't have enough.
Fashion design degree in college from the Great
Serious?
State University.
Oh, I mean, that says it all.
I mean, you've seen the drip on me, bro. It just
No, I
runs in
mean,
the family.
and all very solid color. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. It's a different vibe. It's a different look. It's a different feel. We all do have to evolve. We all have to change. We all have to grow up. And I don't quite feel the same. I don't know. Is it time? I don't know. It scares me. By the way, I always used to wear the SBs. Now I'm wearing the NBs from my boy Bam Bam, and they wear more comfortable. Are they? Do they have this? Are people like? Honestly, I just don't really care. I can't be bothered. Nonplussed, as the great Tony McGregor once said. I don't know.
We'll look back fondly on the days of Plaidwani.
I mean, it was a great run. It was 15 years, and here I am actually wearing plaid as I say this. But I don't know. I'm just sort of. I feel like I'm changing. You know, we all change, we all grow up, we all evolve. Do you guys have? What would you have on yours? A peach, a Georgia peach?
Yeah, maybe. I'd have to really sit down and think. You know.
Rick would have gout.
Yeah.
I'd have like my list of maladies. I'd have every single thing, or like the prescriptions for medicine for each.
Yeah. Ann Evans filled me in that the chat has dubbed him geriatric.
Wow.
Just
That's
so
very good.
That's not pretty good. That's really good.
That's really good. Should we make the merch? I love that. Shout out to my fellow gout sufferers out there.
There's a lot of pressure on what they give him next. Gout, sleep apnea, are just so perfect.
They're really good.
I really want to know what the third one's
next
going to
one
be because there's a lot of pressure for it to be just as good.
Maybe we'll get something. Of course.
Maybe I'll
He
get
gets
something. I need to get it so we can.
Oh, I meant like today. Maybe someone will offer something up today. PT will obviously have something very, common, like a 4-leaf clover or something like that, right?
It should be
This is all we
black.
He's gonna have all the teams in the NFL on there.
Yeah.
No.
The Shield.
He's
all the
no.
teams.
He's Rob Lowe with the NFL hat. He's just such a super fan. He just has the NFL hat
He's got NFL on the shorts.
with the foam finger. NFL.
You do black like shorts with a
Yep.
cream trim.
Yep.
The point again.
A pint to get.
Great minds think alike. I was just about to say that exact thing, PT. Yeah.
It's your point all over it.
Rick, is that you just kind of guessing what he said there? Because all I heard was. No.
This is literally his internet.
I mean, it's not.
Why are we showing me?
Because Petey's
Do me
gonna
a favor, PT.
die on the screen.
Unplug that microphone.
I'm flipping this fucking table.
Yeah. PT, unplug the microphone, open the window over there in your attic, toss it out the window, and put the old $50 one back in. I mean, this is crazy. And can I get a refund also from Amazon?
As you throw it out the window, that's not how that works.
That table is going to be very easy to flip because it is literally like a Fisher
How about the
Price,
amount
like
of
you said
lighting
about the microphone.
There's lights all over the fucking place. There's tools on it. It's
No, it's a mess. It's a mess. By the way,
Frank's
Frank-
getting emotional over here.
well, Frank just said like, "Hey, do you want to like look this over?" And I'm like, "No, I trust you implicitly. Here's my credit card. Here, buy it." He buys him a laundry list of things. Come to find out,
It's literally the same microphone.
it's
that I'm
worse.
using.
It's worse than what we.
I
had
hope your
before.
calendar is clear tonight because you are guaranteed a Frank phone call.
Oh yeah.
That is-
no.
that is happening.
First it'll be like, "Hey man, you got a sec?"
The worst
No,
text
it'll
on
be
earth
you need
to
to
receive.
need to make a sec.
You got a
well,
second?
second worst.
And then I'll
Colin.
say,
we know the worst.
No,
happened
then I'll get a
earlier.
voice note. Hey, I know we all like to joke around.
And then he's going to say, I know we all like to joke around about liking to joke around. We're getting into the inception of this.
But like everyone was kind of.
Keep it going.
He's taking notes. He's taking notes for the call later.
recording.
He's gonna submit this to the HR.
Everyone's
We don't
looking
have
at
any
me.
HR. And
Everyone's
Jerry just left.
everyone's looking at me in the control room. They're like, "Are you guys really beefing, or what's going on?" You know.
As soon as Jerry leaves, this is when
Why
you
did I
start
have
doing
to
this
get
shit.
sniped right there,
Jerry
Jordan?
just
We were
walked
on a
out.
different thing, and you sniped me like that. Come on.
Okay.
Oh,
Everyone,
man.
take a deep breath. I don't even know what we were talking about. Matt Mo, sup, Ariel? When you spoke to Bo last week, you told him you were surprised at how big of a betting favorite he was. By the way, vindication for me or no? I don't know. He then asked what you think. Did you see that tear just roll down my
Frank has
cheek?
one too, but it's for different reasons.
Wait, I missed it. I was listening to the program. What did you say?
No, it's all good. What you think the odds should be, and you responded minus
Seriously
750.
scrubbing back to listen to
Bo
that right
then said, quote, "So you think I would only win 75 out of 100 times? Because that's what that means." You then agreed with him that he should be an even bigger favorite. GC might be the man to ask here, but isn't Bo completely wrong with how he interpreted what minus 750 means? Minus 750 is 7.5 wins for every one loss. It's not 75 out of 100. A 75% win rate would translate more to a minus 300 or minus 400. No?
He is correct. 75% win rate is minus 300. A minus 750 is like 88%.
Why didn't you correct Bo when he said it to me?
What am I going to do? Correct?
Well, actually, Bo.
I was like, who the fuck is that, Ariel, chiming in? But I did that math during the interview. Yeah, I was just like, I don't know if that's actually right. He was right on the minus 1,000 being 90%, though.
So much for that Penn State education.
Wow. I mean, I don't think you learn.
Yeah, they don't
I don't
teach
think you
the,
learn sports
betting
betting
lines.
percentage
They
calculations.
certainly don't at Syracuse, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. I don't know if you got vindicated, though. He did 30-27 him.
Yeah, it's fair. Connor Evans, Ngannou versus Jake in boxing. What about this, guys? I mean, wasn't there a time not that long ago where Jake Paul was on Helwani Vision going nuts over a Francis Ngannou win? Now they're kind of sort of beefing? Is that a
They're
real
not
thing?
beefing. They're just doing. Everybody, including Francis, is doing the "I want the meal ticket." Jake Paul call up. Jake Paul is to the boxing world what Conor McGregor was to the MMA world. It's just, I want the Jake Paul fight. I want the Conor fight. It's just lost all meaning at this point.
It felt it didn't feel to me like Francis was calling him out per se. He was just being critical or defending his boy Mike, who of course cornered him against Tyson Fury. And then it felt like Jake took exception to that, and now they're kind of going back and forth. Am I crazy?
Yeah, but ultimately, as we know, this will not lead to anything significant. It's just noise.
Let's do Jake versus Francis in MMA. First PFL
Yeah,
fight.
I'm in.
Yo,
Let's do it.
Yeah. Now we're cooking.
it's actually not the craziest idea, by the way.
It's pretty crazy.
I would pray
If
for
Jake
Jake's
Paul's first MMA fight was against Francis
would.
effing Ngannou, that would be pretty crazy.
would
Yo,
pray for
he
Jake's
just fought as a heavyweight.
Okay. In
Yeah,
boxing.
it's Francis
against
Ngannou.
58-year-old Mike Tyson.
The lineal heavyweight champion of the world is fighting Jake Paul in his first fight.
Okay, but I'm just saying, how many pay-per-view buys?
I
that
mean,
would do a lot.
to probably watch Jake Paul's head go into the third row.
Yeah.
You're actually kind of blowing my mind right now. If Ngannou has one fight left in PFL, they need a banger.
There's not an amount of money I think you could pay Jake Paul to fight Francis Ngannou in MMA.
Yeah. I don't think that's a banger either. I think that's a one-way street.
No, but they need something to sell.
Something with a
Oh,
splash.
you could sell that. You could sell
I didn't
that.
even think of that because I kind of viewed them as being on the same team.
Also, could you picture Francis Ngannou, like blasting a double on Jake Paul as well?
Jake Paul's career has been pretty deftly handled. I don't think step one toward the MMA thing is
No, I'm certain. I am
fighting
certain that is
Francis
not gonna happen.
Ngannou.
They have been
Just feels impossible.
meticulous in picking these fights out.
Tell you, if they're going back and forth, I fucks with it. I'll tell you that much. By the way, it seems, as you said, everyone is coming after Jake. Artur Beterbiev, Daniel Dubois, Carl Froch, Tony Bellew. Apparently, Francis Ngannou. Yesterday, Jake Paul was on his brother's show, Impulsive, and people were saying that they were planting the seed. I told you guys in July when the Tyson fight fell through originally, there was some talk of Logan versus Jake, and I want to talk to Nikisa about this, but ultimately it didn't pan out. And I've always felt like that's one of the top 3 biggest fights that he can have. And people yesterday were saying they were planting the seed. I have some thoughts on this, but first, in case you missed it, here's what happened.
Who are you fighting next?
Everybody.
Me?
Yeah, I'll fight you.
You would fight me?
Why not? You're fucking tiny.
Big. I'm taller than you. That doesn't even make any sense.
You're just a tiny little guy.
Bro,
My
crazy.
tiny little Pomeranian buddy. Yeah, he's so tiny, Thor.
Bro, your roasting is fucking trash. I feel like ruining my little brother's boxing career would be so bad and mean. People would be like, "You're such a bad older brother," like they already say. But now you ruined his career as well.
You're like a tiny little like speck of dust.
Tiny little what? I'm a fucking big speck of dust. Do you really think you could beat me?
Yeah, you're like the 7 days. You're weak.
I'm so strong.
You're really strong.
At first, this podcast, you're like, I'm brain dead. I was like, ha. Now I actually kind of like think you are.
So there's a part of me, or a big part of me, or all of me that feels like they're working there. They're building to something. There's a seed. I've always felt like there's something there, but that's not it. Like if they do in fact fight next year, wouldn't throw it out the window. That's not the one that you lead with. Last year, they actually really were arguing and there was real tension and real animosity. That's the seed. That's the one that you need to look back on and say, okay, this is where it kind of turned the corner. In case you missed that one or forgot about that one, this is the one that I'm talking about.
They said
brothers fighting. Those are the one. Those are the ones that they should, draw back on if they do in fact fight. Look at how he talks to Mike and says, "Chill for 1 second, chill." That's the one. I don't know what they're actually trying to do. Feels like seeds are being planted, but that to me felt a lot more real than the one that came out yesterday. Max83, hello Ariel. With some extreme difficult negotiations coming up with the UFC and Jon Jones, I was wondering who would represent Jon in this case. Is Richard Schaefer still his advisor? And if so, what exactly is his role? No, he doesn't really do anything with him. Schaefer got a job with Anthem, which oversees TNA and Invicta. They own them. He's back with Abe Kawa. Doesn't really do much with Malki Kawa. Kind of does his own thing as well. But I'm assuming it would be an Abe Kawa situation unless he wants to hire someone to do it for him. And there's other people who kind of help out as well, but that's kind of his de facto manager. Ariel, Michael Chandler, is he in the space, same as Conor, where his win-loss record doesn't matter as long as he stays in fun fights? Yeah, I'd say so. I'd say he's reached that point. I like Mike, but I just don't see him beating any of the top five. And unfortunately, I would say he can't be in BMF talks without the wins. I do want to see a Hangman Hooker rematch. Thoughts? Love the show. Shout out to the crew. Glad Frank hasn't been fired yet. Wow.
Same here, bud. Thanks.
Wait till he sees this show.
He's definitely in that spot. And like I said, I think that he salvaged the Conor fight with his 5th round and then the promo. Like if you just turned on that broadcast and saw the promo, you'd have thought he won. It was unbelievable.
I feel it's weird to compare him to Conor. I feel like it's more like the Cowboy
down Hooker.
Yeah, those guys.
Mike Perry. Yeah.
Fun fight.
Yeah, of course.
Can be top of card, can be middle of card. That type of thing. Conor.
But winning streaks be damned. When I say Conor, I just mean like people don't care if he wins or loses. At least for now, they just want to see him fight.
Yeah.
He's obviously the greatest example. But yes, the Cerrone. It's really the Cerrone category. Taco Enthusiast. Hi, Ariel. When chatting about the Trump extravaganza that occurred at UFC 309 with Chael, I think you both missed a key point. Trump's walkout of 309 included the new director of national intelligence, head of HHS, head of the Department of Government Efficiency, Speaker of the House, and the president-elect's kids. Chael's argument that this, quote, wasn't about politics is absurd. I agree. I get that Trump is Dana's friend, but this was political gloating and sports propaganda at its finest. If Ramzan Kadyrov got the same treatment at an event in Abu Dhabi and walked out with his allies, would we say it's political propaganda? If Jacinda Ardern walked out like that in New Zealand with her cabinet, would it be sports propaganda? I'm not even saying I'm anti-Trump, but when we start analyzing how every fighter interacts with them after their fight, it's getting absurd. Thoughts? I mean, that's essentially what I was getting at. It's a lot. And we've never really seen this before in North American sports where a politician, people want to call it he wasn't back in 2001 or he's the anti-politician, this and that. He is a former and soon-to-be current president getting this type of treatment. It's one thing to have him in the stands and saying hello to everyone and greeting them or whatever. This is completely different. He's getting a video package, a walkout, music, multiple mentions. I mean, they're breaking the fourth wall. He's hugging DC and Rogan and all the guys and all the fight. I mean, it's completely different. How anyone can acknowledge that, good or bad. It's different. It's unlike anything. It's unique. We have never seen this before. And I'm not a aficionado when it comes to all the other countries and how they do things. I watch enough Premier League football, and I'm aware of what goes on in French soccer and German soccer and EuroLeague basketball, I don't see this. Certainly Canada and hockey, you just don't see it to this extent. You'll see, oh, hey, there's Prime Minister Trudeau at the Grey Cup. Cool. He ain't walking onto the field and getting a hero's welcome and doing the coin toss. It's just different. It's different. It's all political. It was political to bring him out for the past year and kind of use the UFC as a lane in the campaign trail. It was political after the indictment to say this is his first appearance and we're going to be okay and we're going to keep fighting. It was political after the assassination attempt to bring him out there and say we're going to keep fighting and we're okay. Like, this is all very calculated. It's not just, Dana wanted to present it as, oh, it's just sort of, happenstance. It's not. And I would just suggest when he first showed up at 244, it was very sort of casual. He was there in attendance. A whole big to-do wasn't made. That to me feels, now that it's over, that if he does attend events, that could be the norm. Maybe not. But I do understand, I will say, why the UFC does. It's a huge coup for them. The leader of the free world is a noted UFC fan and is choosing to routinely appear at their events and use them while they're using him as well. It's a mutually beneficial relationship. I get it. It's a nice little feather in their cap. It's huge for them, and they have benefited from this relationship. Look no further than Darren Till at that same event, trying to get into the country. And how many times has he been over since? So I just think can we not be grown-ups and talk about these things? Or is it all like, if you bring it up, be like, you're a hater. You're a snowflake. Like, we're just talking. It's interesting. This is a thing that happens in our sport that doesn't happen in any other sport, including boxing. Certainly not in the NBA. Certainly not in the NFL. It's just fascinating. And people are paying attention. And like I said, I think there's a very strong case to be made that Dana White, the UFC, and Joe Rogan helped propel Trump to win the election. Again, no commentary. It's just the facts. They were instrumental. Andrew, happy Wednesday, crew. Hot topic at our water cooler this week. Could Jake Paul beat Deontay Wilder? What do you guys think?
Could he possibly? Would he? Even in the state that Wilder's in right now, I would think that Wilder would win that. But I don't think it's an absurd question.
Is that the one? Is that the next one?
I'm down for it. I wouldn't mind seeing that.
That would be something.
I don't know, man. I don't even want to see Wilder he just has looked in very bad form lately, and I don't know.
It's the perfect time to put him against Jake Paul.
We can't be more upset about Deontay Wilder fighting than Mike Tyson.
I'm not upset about either. I just, if you ask me, do I care about watching Mike Tyson fight Jake Paul if it's going to happen in a parking lot and it's not going to be on Netflix? I wouldn't want to watch that either.
I kind of do. I don't hate it. How old is Deontay Wilder now? Mid-30s? Late 30s?
Like 38 or something.
39, yeah. Too old. Sorry.
Dude, come on, man.
That's what people say.
Plus, you want to get people to believe in something. Like, Deontay Wilder does have vicious power.
I think he's done some damage to the reputation lately.
But you don't have to show the last two fights. You don't have to show the Joseph Parker fight. You show the 42 knockouts before that.
I wonder. Is that a risk even worth taking for Jake, honestly?
That's what I was going to say. It is a risk.
HG Spike. Yo, Ariel and crew. This next question is just for Rick for absolutely no reason. It's good when it's set up this way.
There we go. What do we got?
Rick, would you rather be a talking dog that only cats can understand or a talking cat that only on-duty Uber drivers can understand? It has to be one of these. Thank you in advance for taking this seriously.
I'm a talking cat that only on-duty Uber
First,
drivers.
you're a talking dog that only cats understand.
Yeah.
Or a talking cat that only on-duty Uber drivers can understand.
What would be more useful? Okay.
This is an easy one.
I'm picking the Uber driver one.
Yeah.
Because if I can talk to humans, then they can spread the message. Also, that person can now monetize it, right? Now, we as a duo, me and whichever Uber driver I select, we will be rich because he will have a dog that can communicate with humans. And then, therefore, we'll monetize that. I'll have the nicest dog house. I'll have the nicest things. It's definitely that. Cats can't do anything for me.
Wait, would you be a cat that can speak to Uber drivers?
Sorry, I'm a cat.
Yes, yeah.
I'd be the richest cat. I'd have the nicest scratch thing or whatever the hell
Scratch
cat.
thing,
What do cats have, Frank? Tell me what cats
They
have.
have scratching post. They have.
You acted like
condos.
a scratching post. It's the same
what
shit.
happens when the Uber driver goes off duty though? Then you can't.
There's
I
always,
can talk to any.
there's always
There'll be a
an
new
Uber
one.
driver.
I'll pick a new
Yeah,
one.
but you want to build the business with one.
Yeah.
So he would
No,
just always
we don't
have to
have
be.
to drive. He doesn't have to drive Uber anymore. He's going to be rich now.
I know, but I think the question was on duty Uber drivers, was it not?
He's on duty.
On duty.
We talk. He's no longer on duty because we're about to be multimillionaires.
1 second. Imagine this though. So someone gets into an Uber car. Driver's driving. Cat is in the passenger seat. All of a sudden, the driver turns and says, "Hey, my cat wants to say that they think you have an immaculate taste in your dress." You're like, "What the hell did you just say to me?" It's like the cat just says that he's just saying.
We're spending way too much time on this. This is crazy. Adele, hello, Ariel and the crew. I've got 2 questions for you. NY Gout Rick has been labeled all types of things recently, but I feel like he hasn't really cleared the air. So can he confirm if he's okay, or what is going on with my man? Does he actually suffer from these things?
I think we actually looked up what gout was on one of the shows, and I still don't even remember or know. I do not have gout. I don't have sleep apnea either.
It's just fun to think about.
He says he doesn't have gout, but it is inflammatory arthritis that causes painful, swollen, red, and tender joints. And I do constantly see him, working out his joints. And I'm like, "Are you all right?" He's just like, "Yeah, it's just the
gout."
I don't know, man. It's
Working
just like,
through the kinks?
It's sort of like he's like, it's a type of inflammatory arthritis, and it causes painful, swollen, red, and tender joints for me. I just don't know what it is. I was like, brother, I think that's
And it
gout.
smells.
We did look it up, and I forgot. No, I'm all good. I've never been better.
Debo, shalom, Ariel. As a broadcasting aficionado, I'd love to hear your opinion on the disagreement between Mauro Ranallo and Roy Jones during the Tyson fight, biting his gloves. What do you think is the best way to handle that as a play-by-play guy if you know the color analyst is incorrect? That was very interesting. They kept going back to it. In case you missed it, Mauro was saying that was something that Tyson just did throughout his career. Maybe not to that extent, but did. And Tyson, to Mauro's credit, confirmed that in the post-fight interview. I asked him about it because it was such a hot topic, and Roy kept saying that it was an issue with his mouthpiece. I think the best course of action in that moment would have been maybe someone in the truck telling them, "Hey guys, let's just leave this one. We've both had our say. We'll address it in the post-fight." Because you don't want to come across as arguing, and I don't think they were arguing. They were just kind of having 2 different opinions, but they kept going back to it multiple times, which could be awkward for the audience and uncomfortable. So I think the best thing would have been like, let's just move on from this topic. Now, it was a big thing throughout the fight, a common theme, and I did feel bad for him that he kept doing it. I've watched a ton of Tyson fights, and I don't recall him doing it that much. But as he said in the post-fight, which I was happy I was able to ask him that question and the question about the knee brace, he has a biting fixation. We move along. Zach, hi team. Would love to hear your thoughts on who Charles should fight next. I think everyone believes that he should fight the winner of Arman versus Islam, and I think the UFC agrees with that as well.
That's the one.
Yeah. Joel, hey Ariel. At first I thought it was nonsense when Chael said that they would strip Tom's interim title. Then he came on the show yesterday and said they didn't. However, now there's no IC next to his name on the UFC rankings. Any thoughts, update? I don't know. Who the hell cares? They shouldn't strip him, and I would be shocked if they did, and historically they don't, because like when, Mir and Carwin fought, and I think it was Carwin and Lesnar, they did the unification. They want the unification bout. They want the champion versus champion. That's a good promotional tool. So yeah, I think that would be very, very surprising, extremely surprising if they actually did that. Sonny, yo, Ariel and homies, can we please get a quick rundown of all Frank's sound bites and a quick explanation of each? I'm trying to get friends into the show, but they are new and need to learn to be in the loop. Appreciate you all. That feels like a very long process. And plus, Frank has already told us that he deletes them now, right? Like, you don't
everyone stop chatting shit.
That's what he said. I mean, that's what he said. You just kind of have to you kind of have to jump in and
Keep up.
Go along for the ride. Travis, hello, Ariel. Is it safe to say that the UFC's rejection of GC's media credential request to attend UFC Apex 100 is something that will permanently extend into eternity unless cooler heads prevail? They didn't reject. Did you apply for a credential?
It didn't get in.
Is that true?
I think it was just sent a little bit too late.
You didn't tell me you applied. Did you really?
I said it on the show, on the program.
Wow. So what'd they say? Seriously?
They never got back to me.
Oh, you just never got a response?
Never got a response. Yeah.
Is that a rejection?
I don't know, man. Silence speaks volumes.
Wait, why did you apply were you actually planning on going?
If I had gotten the credential, I would have gone, yeah.
Oh, geez. Sorry
I
to
thought
hear.
we discussed all this. I thought I was going to, the hotel.
I don't remember you actually saying, Rick, do you remember him saying he actually applied?
Dinners,
This was
buffets.
I think you guys are
Right off
messing with me.
rip when he said UFC Apex 100 coming up, he applied.
I don't know what you guys are talking about.
There's always another chance at it.
Mr. Clean, sub crew, Aspinall versus Jones does better numbers than Pereira. Changed my mind. Don't disagree. Certainly
I'll
worldwide.
change your mind. It wouldn't. Quite that simple. It would not.
Yeah,
Alex
mine
Pereira.
changed.
Alex Pereira on a poster sells more than Tom Aspinall, and put it across from Jon Jones, and it sells more. Period. End of story.
I think Aspinall sells the fight more.
I think
Nah, man.
Jones sold the fight more. I think Jones has made the fight massive. Just last
It
week
has-
alone. In fact, even the week before last week, the interview with Ioli, when he said he didn't want to do it, there was it's taken on a completely different form. I don't dispute the fact that Pereira might be a bigger fight, though. Like, that's definitely a possibility. It's probably likely.
We all
Look
want
at how
Tom
Aspinall
versus-
sold that. He's like, that's the reason why he doesn't want it. He can't watch any tape on me. Like, that's good shit.
We all want Tom versus John. Alex Pereira is a bigger fight. These two things can coexist. It does not have to be. They are not
Do
at
you
odds
think-
with each other.
Do you think the talk of a fight week between Pereira and Jones would just be about why aren't you fighting Aspinall, though?
Potentially, but it would also
They got to
be,
get Aspinall out of the way.
it would also
they
be
do.
Alex Pereira in front of people and reminded of who he is.
Here's what backs up your point. He doesn't mention when the fights happen. So if John fights Aspinall next, which he should, and beats him, then the Pereira fight is bigger because now he's even better. You know what I mean? If he fights Pereira before Aspinall, it's not bigger. Not now.
It's bigger.
How
did Alex become? He was the guy, and now all of a sudden Tom Aspinall.
He's my
is the
number
guy?
one. He's my number one pound for pound guy. But Tom Aspinall is the interim champion, and he's the number one contender,
but-
and he is the best heavyweight resume in the freaking company right now.
But we're not talking about
We're not talking about
rightfulness
that.
to the fight.
No, but that makes it bigger, in my opinion. And he will sell the fight, and he's got a whole country behind him. We don't know how big. By the way, how big is Pereira in Brazil? Have you talked to Guilherme Cruz about this, Pizzi? How big is
Yeah,
Pereira?
yeah.
What are we talking about?
He
How
said
big-
he hasn't.
Let him speak. Go ahead.
Yeah, he said he hasn't really touched the Anderson levels, Vitor levels, or even Aldo levels yet. But that's predominantly because he hasn't fought there, right? Like them guys were kind of brought in front of the audience, had magical moments in front of the Brazilian audience. He hasn't quite got there yet. And you have to remember too, Globo, the TV deal they had with Globo was massive, and that was when Aldo was fighting, when Anderson was fighting. They don't have that deal anymore, so it's a lot more difficult for Brazilian fans to consume the UFC the way they did back then.
Let's move along because we don't have a ton of time before we get to Gable Steveson. YFG94 Sup Gang, with the signing of Mikey Musumeci, do you guys see a day where BJJ matches would be in a pay-per-view / fight night card, similar to how one does it? No. I did have someone reach out to me who's very much in that world saying, yo, this isn't good. Like, UFC trying to gobble up all the BJJ stars to exclusive contracts is not good for the sport. I guess that's one way of looking at it, especially if you're in the business. The other way could be like, hey, they're finally getting the opportunity. Mikey seems very happy with the arrangement, but let's see. It was an interesting way to look at it. Ariel finally saying iron correctly, and that whole soundbite is my absolute favorite. When I first heard it, it was on audio, and I didn't actually see the video of it. Mind showing it one time for the fans in the back that haven't seen the video? Iron. Which video are you talking about? The walkout video? I mean, I was on the freaking thing. 100 million people heard me say it, all right? That's vindication right there. Am I wrong to think that if Ariel was to consume some good old wacky tobacco, he'd either nonstop be saying iron or just only speaking French? Wouldn't you like to know, all right? P.S.
Straight to bed.
That's not a real window, but I fucks with it. Love the show. TJ, hey Ariel, what's the beef with Joe Rogan? You kept saying you would never be invited onto a show, facts, but Joe Rogan has said that he likes you and thinks you're a great interview. He's throughout his entire or our time knowing each other has always been kind and complimentary, but he won't. And this is not me trying to like do some like Carl Froch, Tony Bellew reverse psychology, but please, but for given his relationship with Dana, he's not going to have me on. And I get that. I don't need to be on. It's the biggest part. I routinely say what he has built is so impressive and admirable, and it's the biggest podcast in the world, and he has now become what Howard Stern was 20 years ago when I was growing up and all that stuff. But I just know it. The one issue that I've had with him, which I've talked 1,000 times, is I did not appreciate the Monday after UFC 199 for the 1 millionth time that he told a version of the story that was 1,000% fabricated and that was potentially damaging to my reputation. He said a bunch of stuff happened, which never happened, not even close to happening. It was just their version of the story that they wanted out there to make me seem like I did something wrong, which I had not. And that was very hurtful. I am past it. I've moved on. Life's too short to hold those grudges. But that's the only time I have ever been really critical. I'm just saying that I don't think he would have me on because of the relationship, and that is totally fine. That's it. There's no beef. I think how many times have I said he's an asset to the UFC? They should not let him go. They should keep him around as long as he wants to be around every month, twice a year, 6 times a year. It's gigantic having him a part of the UFC. Massive. To Petesy, if he's there, the rest of the crew went over their favorite bagels. What was your favorite bagel?
Bagels aren't really that much of a big deal over here. I just get like when I'm in New York, I just get like what's the thing that you get there? Like a bacon, egg, and cheese. Is it?
Nailed it.
Yeah, that's one.
Nailed it.
Or pizza.
That's the only one I get. I went to some fancy bagel spot last time I was there. It was really nice. The bagels are class over there. It's different. It's different gravy. They aren't the same here. They are fantastic in New York.
Do you carry bagels in Dublin at all? Like, is there no place?
Oh, we do, but they're just not. They're just not the same. It's like having pizza here. You know what I mean?
Got it.
It's not the same.
Ali Me, are you and the gang doing a live show for Sydney? We need some loving. I've said London, Dublin, Sydney are my top 3 choices. But are we doing one in February? Probably not. Probably a little bit too soon. But I would love to do it. MBE28. True or false, Logan Paul versus Dylan Dennis was better than Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul. I'm talking build-up, promotion, and actual fight. Golly. What do you guys
Not promotion. Actual fight, I guess. I mean, it wasn't
That fight was pretty awful.
It was pretty bad.
And I was there calling that one too, and I could say it was pretty awful. Like, there's no... That one was hard to watch. That one was hard to watch.
It was more, I guess, for lack of a better word, pathetic because, Mike Tyson is 58 and we don't, like, nobody expected it. Like, I guess some of the betting public, but I didn't expect him to perform. I expected Dennis to show a little more. So maybe, but yeah, promotion-wise, it wasn't even close. Tyson did way better.
Yeah, I guess maybe the expectations were a little bit higher for the Dennis fight, and it fell way short. But yeah, I mean, they were both not the best, and obviously one was seen by way more people. That has nothing to do with the question, but worth a mention. Do we have time for one more? Who knows? To the crew, yes. Following up on last week's plumber question, it's time to answer a debate as old as time. Who wins in a fight to death? A man with no legs versus a man with no arms? Personally, I lean no legs. Yeah, probably.
These questions are off the hook today.
Yeah, what's going on?
Yeah, because I guess once it gets to the ground, like it's all the dude with the arms.
Ryan, Ariel, are you able to give us any insight into what negotiations were like for you? Were holdups on money or the team or an amount of content? Thanks for what you guys do. Well, we had Jerry back there earlier. My dear agent Jerry, he could have told us the whole story, but there were no real holdups. It was actually quite good. Quite enjoyable. Obviously, these things take time, and there's a process, and you got to talk to people. But overall, look at us now, my friends.
You don't have to protect me. Like, I'm the one who held it up.
Yeah,
I had all the crazy requests.
But look at us now. At the top of the show, I mentioned the Bellator breaking news that Usman Nurmagomedov is going to defend his title against Paul Hughes on January 25th. Did want to get PT's thoughts on it briefly. This is a massive, massive deal. How about Irish MMA, PT? All of a sudden, you join the program, and it feels like everything's just popping off. Ian Gary, Shavkat Rakhmonov, number one contender fight. Paul Hughes fighting for the belt. Your reaction to this news?
Yeah, massive. Sorry about that quick departure there. I'm back now.
Yes.
Do you know what's funny about this? I'm surprised that you said at the top of the show that was only announced today, because I'm pretty sure I saw 2 weeks ago a video online of them facing off in Dubai. So that was news to me that it was officially announced today.
I think that was more them trying to drum up interest. I don't think that was an official thing. They had never attached a date to it or anything like that. Am I wrong?
No, I knew the date. You know what I mean? A bit closer connected than you.
I mean, this is your beat. Excuse me. Was it officially announced? Did they put out a press release 2 weeks ago, PT?
No, but do you need to these days?
Know yourself.
I mean, did you hang around when you were making your name in this industry? Were you hanging around waiting for press releases before you announced stuff, Ariel?
I didn't say the news was broken today. I said the news was officially announced today. Okay, fair. Semantics.
It is, yeah. Yeah, it's a huge, huge fight. Massive, massive spot for Hughes. And look, you mentioned at the top the fact that they're rebranding and they're doing this road to Dubai, which is again, very confusing right now. I hope that will become more clear further down the line. But the fact that they're putting him in this spot, they've put him in the Ngannou card previously and now into this one, it's absolutely huge. And like you said at the top, it's dead right to advertise this as Ireland v Dagestan as well. I mean, the meeting of Conor and Khabib is, the most watched UFC pay-per-view of all time. Obviously a lot of vitriol there. What I think is funny this time is it seems to have flipped. When I was talking to Dennis Geico from Red Corner about this fight, he was kind of saying, well, Usman's very different to Khabib. He's the kind of outlandish one of the group. He's the one that will talk a lot more smack. He's a lot more extroverted. Whereas I see Paul as not as extroverted as Conor. He's like the quiet one in this duo, perhaps. Perhaps we haven't seen that side of Usman because obviously he speaks Russian predominantly. But a huge, huge fight. As I said yesterday, like Ian's in this massive spot as well. It's a great time for Irish MMA.
Is this happening sooner? There's the poster. Is this happening sooner than you expected? He signed with them in the spring, the one fight in June under the Bellator banner, then the fight that you mentioned in October, PFL pay-per-view, and now a title fight against Usman. Maybe the best fighter in the whole damn thing, right? PFL or Bellator. Are you surprised it's happening so soon?
Not after AJ McKee. I mean, I don't think there's a lot more ways to go with him outside of AJ McKee. And if you'll remember, and what he told you when he was in studio with you, Ariel, is this is exactly what he planned. This is what he wanted. The fight that he kept on avoiding a question when he was on with you because he said, I have a plan. I'm going to unveil it after my debut. The plan was to call out Usman. Obviously, everything got caught up in the moment there. Conor McGregor was there. They had a great kind of a passing of the torch moment that night. But I think you've got to do it. Like, where else do you put him after the AJ McKee fight? I feel like it's nearly the same conversation we're going to have again. Before the AJ McKee fight, we had so many people saying, oh, who is this guy? This guy's just another Khan. He's another Irish Conor McGregor wannabe. He is not that guy. He is a very different guy. He has his own story. He already had countless departures from the sport due to injury and different situations like that. I think he needs to make hay while the sun shines, and I think he's very, very excited about getting what he wants, which was always Usman Nurmagomedov.
I do wonder, he wins this fight. Let's just say he wins this fight. Does he still go into the PFL tournament? This is where it gets tricky, right?
Yes. Yeah, because I always thought that was a weird way to look at it from Paul's point of view. Like, I'm going to go in and take out the biggest names and then put myself into the tournament. I know Brendan Loughnane's back in the final next weekend, but he's the guy who talks about it the most. The toll that those tournaments take in your body. It might be the most pure sport avenue you can go in MMA because of the way it is, right? Like, because you're just taking on these guys. It's a knockout style tournament. I think he will certainly view it in a different light if he beats Usman. If he gets that belt, all of a sudden he might be going, I'm really going to have to fight 4 times. I'm going to have to do all this, like no recovery time for my body between every fight. And I think a lot of people, before they go into the PFL tournament, they think about that and they go, that's great. I won't have to worry about getting a fight or pursuing fights because I'm going to know when I'm going to fight all the time. It's a very different story when you're actually doing it. Loughnane is a guy known for his durability. He's been around donkey's years. And look, he's climbed the ladder again. But for him to be saying second time around, like, this is hellish. Like, I don't know if I can handle this. It's not only physically exhausting, it's mentally exhausting. You have no time off. You're just doing a straight sprint for a year. I think he will certainly look at that differently should he have the belt wrapped around his waist in January.
I'm assuming Usman is the favorite going into this fight. I mean, I'm just assuming given his dominance and that he's the champion and whatnot, puzzles. But if you could tell us, like, do you fancy his chances? Can he get it done? Can he make it happen? Can he be the one to beat Usman Nurmagomedov?
I think he can. Like, I think he showed us how good his wrestling defense is against AJ McKee. AJ McKee is a generational submission fighter. The things he's done, like the Darian Caldwell submission. Look, I will say, I think AJ's skill set is more on the ground. I think the problem with Usman is how brilliant he is at getting people on the ground. That's going to be a bigger test for Paul. I understand why Usman's the favorite, same as I said with Shavkat yesterday, but a lot of cash to be made there on the double up for the Irishman.
Oh, yes. By the way, is this the biggest moment in Irish MMA history? Is it?
I think it is. I'm only messing. But you know what?
Wait, you didn't answer the question.
No, of course it isn't. Anything like the 5 fights Conor McGregor had. Like, I mean, Conor McGregor walked.
Okay, is this the biggest outside of a Conor fight?
No, I think Ian v. Shavkat.
What? You just told us that the AJ McKee fight was the biggest one. How could this not be bigger than that?
I did. No, you see, you're doing that again. You're putting words in my mouth. Andy Stevenson. And I even saw you crawling into his replies there last week.
Oh, and today. And today, by the way. I did it again today.
Because he was saying, that's his thing. This is the biggest non-McGregor situation. I simply had him on my show to air out that theory. Okay. And I do think, as I said before, it is a reasonable debate to have. What is the biggest non-McGregor moment? AJ McKee v. Paul or Ian v. MVP, but Shavkat v. Ian. So the proximity to the title, you'd have to put the UFC title and title situations in the UFC above Bellator /PFL /Road to Dubai title fights. But look, it's a huge moment, and I think it's a good thing as well for people to be seeing a different avenue in the UK, in Ireland. I know it was a huge deal when Brendan went down, and we've seen the fruits of that with like the likes of Lewis McGrillen, Dakota, all these people now into that promotion. They have such a strong UK presence. The problem with Bellator and PFL in Ireland was it was all just SBG guys. And a lot of the time people were like, these aren't like, obviously there was the exceptions with the likes of Sinead fighting Cyborg, Peter Queally fighting Pitbull. Like there was a lot of competitive fights, but for the most part, people were like, these SPG guys aren't being put in real fights. Paul, he might have got a bit of a soft launch with his debut in Dublin, but from there he goes from AJ McKee to Usman Nurmagomedov. That is massive, and it's sending a message to the rest of the people in the UK and Ireland that this is a viable option outside of the UFC.
Just to prove that I am so extremely generous with my compliments, can I just say to Frank, especially, that the difference in the way in which Petesy sounds now as opposed to an hour ago is...
You just now saw it.
No. What changed? Something definitely changed.
Changed the microphone back.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is... No, because it actually kind of looked...
Go ahead.
Changed. So you did actually throw it out the window.
It back.
Why does it sound so much better?
I honestly think the device I sent him needs to be reconfigured, but we can't do that right now.
Okay.
And would you believe, Ariel, I don't know how to reconfigure microphones.
No,
so
I was like,
I had him grab a butter knife early. It's been a thing.
No, because I went into like this like trance. I was like, why does this sound so silky smooth? There it is.
Silky smooth.
Between that picture there and you throwing the football, I mean, we've got some. Let's see it. Let's see the
I can't
form.
throw the football. I can't move around that much anymore.
Oh,
I actually have
gosh.
a light over my head here. I have all types of things. The desk moves, the whole show collapses here. That's what's
here,
happening.
Ariel. Come on, give us a break.
The fact that we now can't do the football bit is just.
Now it's not worth it.
The whole thing.
If I go back there.
No, don't do it. No, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
If Reggie just runs up here excitedly
It's
thinking
over.
I'm about to play with him, the whole thing is falling apart.
We honestly need to send him a new desk.
Yeah. Oh, so I have to pay for that too?
Yeah.
I mean, like, jeez.
I did. Here, I said I was going to buy a desk.
And
at
you
the
haven't
weekend.
done it. It's
I
been
was
2
like,
days.
That Ariel lad's made of money. Just get him to buy one. Jesus. What's wrong with you?
Yeah. Oh no, 100%. Frank definitely said. Oh, there it is. It just fell.
Yeah, it just fell.
It just
Yeah.
fell. No, yesterday we went out for dinner for a celebratory dinner, and Frank's like, "Hey, you want me to?" He's like, "You want me to?"
I don't even bother doing that with Helwani.
The
I
other
just
guys,
look at him.
the other
Dead
guys,
man. I'm just
the other guys were just like, Frank's like, "You want me to?"
It's all
Oh,
the
Frank,
Texas
that's so
T-Rex.
awkward.
You're like, oh, let me grab my wallet.
Want me
real quick.
to contribute to that? Like, no, Frank, it's okay. But I do appreciate the consideration. It is very kind. By the way, which one will garner more interest and excitement back home? Which fight, Ian or Paul's?
I think in a UFC main event, it's very hard to compete
Co-main,
with that. But
co-main.
Oh, sorry, yeah, of course. But like, that's a huge spot to be in. Shavkat's a massive fight. I will say, I think the Irish MMA community, which isn't Ireland, which is like the focused MMA community, they seem to have a closer tie-in with Paul. So that's what I said to you the last time when Paul fought AJ. And every gym in the country was ringing me talking about it and blah blah blah. I think it's inevitable. It's the same with Joe Duffy when he went to train in Canada. Like when you aren't here, when they aren't seeing you at events, you aren't as easily accessible as people back home. There is a drift there from the scene, like the MMA community. So I think Paul will be huge and Ian will be huge. I'd say Ian takes that because just the situation he's in with Shavkat, but. Paul, honestly, massive. Like it was massive when he fought AJ. Everybody in the country was buzzing for it. And look, I wish Ian would get that kind of love. He deserves it. Look at the situation he's in. Like from a purely sport point of view, he's doing astronomical things in the UFC. This is a massive, massive moment, and I think he has a very good chance.
PT, thank you. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks for watching this video. Hey, before you go, do me a favor, hit that sub button, give us a thumbs up, hit the little bell thingy as well. Leave us a nice comment or two. We appreciate you all very much.